Hey, you amazing artists. Welcome back to Drawing with Mr. Krause. So, today, what I want to do is this. I want to show you guys, I guess, part one of getting your room set up for your interior room drawing. So, I've got my paper ready to go right here. This is going to be kind of a practice one. This will go in our sketchbook. But a lot of these applications can be applied to our final room drawing. Now, first thing I want to do is this, okay? I want to go ahead and I want to create the layout of my room. And what I mean by that is when we use 1 point perspective, if we put our back wall higher up on your paper, you're going to have more floor space. If you put it down here, you have more ceiling space. So a lot of times when people put balconies in and maybe like an A-frame home, they want to have a little bit more at the top here as opposed to down here. And of course the same thing applies too. If you put your back wall over here on this side, you have a lot of wall space here, over here, a lot of wall space there. So we're just going to do something where we're going to have a back wall. We're going to have a little bit more floor space, but it's going to be pretty much for the most part in the center. Now what I want to do though is this. Change up my paper here a little bit. It's starting to warp up on me. All right, I kind of clean my surface there. There we go. That's much better. Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is this, you guys. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get started. Adjust my camera here a little bit. No. Okay, there we go. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we want to get our vanishing point on here to begin with. Now, to do this, you guys, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put my vanishing point right here. Just a little dot. All right, that's all I want to put on there, just that little dot to kind of get started. Then from there, I want to do equal distant measurements from this back wall. Now, if you have a ruler, that's great. You don't need one. All right, I also got a straight edge here too, and this works pretty good. Just as long as you have and you keep track of what marks you're using, you should be perfectly fine. So if I do equal distance, let's say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have an equal distance to the end here. All right, I'm going to have an equal distance from the end here. So all I did is I came up with my own kind of marks and measurements. Hey, it worked out beautifully, perfectly fine. And we're going to do the same thing from the top to the bottom, okay? So I want to go ahead and let's say I'm going to go ahead and put a mark right here. And I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put a mark right here. So right now, you guys, I have 4 dots on here. I can't see this one too well. It makes it a little bit darker. All right, I got equal distance from top and bottom, equal distance from side to side. All right, now, next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and take my straight edge, okay, and being completely parallel on my paper, I'm going to put a line straight across, okay? So I'm going to put a line straight across here, come up here, I'm going to do the same thing on the top here. All right, make sure it's parallel with the top and bottom of your paper. All right, make sure it's not all crooked and cattywampus. You don't want that. I'm going to do the same thing here, and also the same thing over here on this side, okay? So I've got that good to go. Looks good so far. All right, everybody, I had to tape down the edges of my paper real quick, too. It was starting to still kind of warp up on me, but it's fine. Everything's good. So right now, we have, on the back of our paper, a rectangular shaped box, okay? Nice job. Now, the next thing we want to do is this. We've got, on this box, 4 corners, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to take each one of those corners, and we want to line it up to the vanishing point, to the middle point. Now, here's the thing. I always say this is almost like doing a little overrated dot to dot, okay, or underrated. All right, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take each one of these corners, line up the vanishing point. So once again, I'm taking my straight edge. I want to go ahead, notice I'm doing this, ready, line it up. Now, here's a big mistake a lot of kids make. They go in here and they draw a line inside the box. Don't draw a line inside the box. Draw it outside. Extend out from the center. Go up here, extend out. Now, the other thing, too, kids like to do is this. They won't use the vanishing point, and then they'll take this, and they'll use the corners of the paper, and they'll draw that. Don't do that. You have to line up the vanishing point with the corner of the box, and you have to extend it out. If you don't, it's not going to look good. All right? So you want to make sure you extend it out. All right, come down here. All right, and extend it out. Yeah? Especially down here, look at this. Yeah, you can't do that. You know, that's not going to look good. All right, you have to make sure that you extend it from the vanishing point to the corner, to the edge of the paper. All right, so right now, we've got a back wall, 2 side walls, a ceiling, and a floor. Looks good so far, but hold on, there's more. What we're going to do next is this. We're going to go ahead, we're going to do a little construction here of this room. We're going to take out this wall on this side. So the next thing I want to do is this. I'm going to go in here, guys, taking my straight edge. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put a line straight up and down like this. Okay, not going to go all the way though. It's almost about halfway from the edge of this wall here to the side of the paper. About halfway, looks pretty good. Now, here's the next thing, you guys. This gets a little kind of dicey. We need to take these two marks here and draw two short lines extending out from there, and that's going to represent the thickness of our wall. Okay, two short lines extending out, boom, just like that. So I can go ahead now, take my straight edge, straight up and down, extend it up like this. So essentially I have kind of the thickness of the wall, looks like an extremely long rectangular shape, and that's what you want. Okay, now once we have this, two more marks that need to be lined up to the vanishing point, this point right here and this point right here. Okay, they seem kind of insignificant, but they're important. All right, this is going to kind of take care of that top ridge of my entranceway or my exit way, however you want to look at it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. Boom. I'm going to do this right here. Okay. Once again, line up to your vanishing point, line up to the dot, extend out. All right. So right now, I've got this huge little opening in the wall. I can get rid of my flooring line right there. It looks pretty good. And if I want to kind of help this out a little bit, maybe make a little more sense, I can go ahead and extend this back line right here for my house, and that just kind of finishes it off. So you can actually kind of visualize this particular room. Now, so far we're getting some of the layout here. It's looking pretty good. The next thing I want to show you is this. We're going to start putting our first piece of furniture in. And that's one thing that's kind of important, you guys. Whenever you do these drawings, don't go and start getting kind of gung-ho about putting in cool rugs, carpets, flooring treatments. A lot of times wood floor is really fun to do. That should be the last thing you want to do. Get your items on your floor first. So what I want to do is this. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put like a little couch, love seat, chair over here on this side. We're going to make it a couch. I'll make this a little bit longer. And what I want to do to make this couch is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create, I always call this kind of an L shape on the side here. Okay, got this little L shape kind of going on here. Got a top little portion right here. The back of this L shape, I'd go ahead and kind of make it come down a little bit more of an angle, all right? And then, of course, this is going to kind of extend out through here, and then finally, boom, straight up and down here. Notice I'm using my ruler, or my straight edge, just to make sure that my lines look good. All right, looks a little boxy, got some sharp corners here, but that's important for right now. We'll go ahead, we can soften this up later. Now, I've got five points on this shape that need to be drawn back to the vanishing point. So I'm going to take each one of these points and I'm going to draw them back to the vanishing point. All right, each one of these points. Look at that, all the way back to the vanishing point. All right, oh my gosh, so cool. All right, and then one more. This last one, because it's getting so close to the horizon line, which would be about right here, you're really not going to see too much. In fact, I need to come down a little bit more on that. It's a little bit too high. I got to line it actually up on the point. There we go. That looks much better. All right. Very good. Now, the next thing I want to do is this. And this is what gets a little tricky for kids. You need to recreate these lines and these angles back here. So this line right here is straight up and down. So I need to go back here. It needs to be straight up and down. This one's straight across. This has to also be straight across. Boom, just like this. Okay. This one's at an angle. This one has to be at the same angle. And the top, straight across. All right, boom, just like that. Looks like I kind of messed this up a little bit here. We're going to take care of that. All right, looks good. All right, boom. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Oh, golly gee, Mr. Carlson. Okay, there we go. All right, that looks good. Nice. Excellent. All right, so I've got this taken care of. And right now, I've got a pretty decent looking shape for a sofa. Now, we can go ahead, I can go ahead and kind of soften this up here in just a little bit. I'm going to hold off on that for right now because I want to put in one more shape back here. This is just going to kind of represent kind of a box. I sometimes say this could be a fireplace, it could be a TV set, old school TV set. It could be a fish tank. I've seen people do that before. I've seen people just turn it into a box. All right. But remember, we're just kind of learning just simple techniques for right now. All right. These are just learning kind of the fundamentals. You can kind of add in your own thing later. We start doing our own individual rooms on your home. Anytime you have a shape too, you always want to erase the lines that are behind. That's why it's important to draw lightly as well. So right now, I just got a simple box, okay? I went ahead, I made kind of the square shape. I had these top 2 points go back to the vanishing point, and once again, I capped it off the top here, and that just creates basically 2 sides. You see the top and you see the front. And the reason for that is because it's directly underneath your vanishing point. If it was to the side, you'd see a side of it. If it was over here, you'd see this side. So you're just going to go ahead and kind of leave it for this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right there. That's quite a bit of information for part 1 here. good luck with this. Can't wait to see what you create. And we're going to turn these into awesome things a little bit later on our upcoming videos. Thanks, guys.